What's going on, Joe? What's going on? What's going on, baby?
What's good? What's good?
Not a whole lot. Hey, Corey, let us know how the audio is for Joe too. While you right there, man. How was your weekend, bro?
Hey man, what's good? I can't complain. 35 days in a furlough, but who's counting?
35 days in a furlough. Might have to make this a full time gig.
Right.
Cool. So start off power rankings, man. Last week a whole lot went on with the NFL trade deadline. A lot of movement, almost like the NBA trade deadline. Things got crazy out there yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, So your Power Five last week, I mean, you can really let me know if this didn't change, if it changed, why it changed. Last week you had Colts, Packers, Eagles, Lions, Patriots. After yesterday, how you feel about that?
Man, my top five look bad. Last weekend with 3 out of the 5 losing. Um, Probably the Packers loss was the most shocking. The Panthers are a team up and coming, but you would think they would handle the Packers at home pretty easy. I mean, the Panthers at home pretty easy. The Lions lost to the Vikings. That's a division rivalry game, but at the same time, you home. That was kind of surprised as well. So my Power Five ain't look too good. The Pats and Eagles held the line though. Um, I hate to admit it, but Buffalo looked pretty good versus the Chiefs on Sunday night. So, and also the Seahawks, man, they took it to the Commanders on Monday Night Football. So, um, definitely some rearranging going on in the Power Five this week.
So you hedging your bet.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
So I
but
mean,
like,
so where you got them ranked right now?
who we talking about?
Like what would be your top five NFL teams right now post trade deadline after what you seen this weekend?
Post trade deadline. Um, the Eagles didn't do a lot, but I think they added a couple smaller pieces. You got to put them near the top. The Pats didn't do anything, but the Pats look like a very balanced team, man. I
Yeah,
still like what they got. Um, you still got the Bills there.
yeah.
I would add in the Seahawks. Um, and after that, man, the Colts. I can't take them completely out the top five off that loss to Pittsburgh. They were in Pittsburgh. That's not an easy place to play. So I would still keep them in the top five. Plus, they made some moves, a big move, adding Sauce Gardner to solidify that corner spot. So I think they still going to be formidable in the AFC.
Yeah. I feel you. The Sauce Gardner move is a great move, I think, for the Colts. Anyway, it's to get a number one corner at the deadline for what they had to give up. I think sometimes them picks get overvalued because you never know what you're gonna get out the draft, man. Sauce is a proven commodity in this league. Corey, Patriots, Eagles, Bills, Seahawks, Rams. I hope that's not in order. There's no way you got the Patriots as the best team in the league right now, Corey. You tripping? At least he didn't put the Raiders on there. But yeah, I feel you. Like you're five. Like looking at your five from last week coming into this week, it looked strong. The Packers losing losing Kraft. That's gonna
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah,
That's gonna
that was
hurt.
for sure his security blanket. So
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. Um, and like you said, outside of that, not a whole lot of movement. Obviously the Eagles always do what they do. They got Jair Alexander from our Ravens, who I mean, honestly, they should have gave him away. We ain't need nothing back in return. Um, shit, we just happy to get him off the books and get him out of practice. He was trash for us. So I ain't too worried about that loss at all.
yeah, unfortunately, Jay looked like he done lost a couple steps, man. So, but
So
wishing him the best in Philly.
yeah, definitely. So looking at my five, Lions. I had Lions, Colts. I was on the Packers, Chiefs, and I had the Ravens. And people thought I was crazy because I had the Ravens up there. Um, I nothing changes for me as far as the Lions is concerned. Lions to me still best team in football. The Colts, I still got them as the second best team in football. I think they got the best offensive line. They got probably a top 2 running back. Most would say he's probably the best running back. You got Danny Dimes, who don't look anything like that guy that played for the Giants. Solid receiving core, Pro Bowl tight end and Tyler Warren. Defensively to get Sauce, to me, that was the biggest question mark was the secondary.
Yeah.
Right? So to get Sauce, I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
That was perfect. But what I will say is the Chiefs and Bills game, because I was a fool. Like, I fell victim to the Chiefs beating some bad teams over the last couple weeks. Once Rashee Rice came back, and I put the Chiefs up in that top 5. I do not believe the Chiefs are a top 5 team in the league. Hell, they might be the third best team in their division.
Yeah. Respect to the Chargers. You know, they still look good. They kind of typical hardball ball. They're kind of plotting along. You know, they don't really win blowouts or had the pretty wins, but, you know, they're going to win by 7 or 3 points or something in that range. And it's going to be a lot of 4 yards in a cloud of dust type of thing. But Harbaugh is all about winning, and he's going to win by any means possible. So can't count those guys out.
Yeah. No, definitely. And when it comes to the Ravens, I'm still high on the Ravens, man. Like, I know there's a lot of people who don't feel like the Ravens probably would belong in the top 5 of a power ranking situation. But when you look at it realistically and you look at their roster, you look at the amount of talent the Ravens have, still got a top 5 roster in the league. I think we talked about it last week as far as schedule is concerned.
Yeah,
they just started off with a tough schedule. You played the Lions, you played the Chiefs, you played the Bills.
Do you like the Draymond Jones pickup?
Anything is better than what we've had from a pass rushing standpoint. So yes, I love it because at least we tried to go and make something happen.
Yeah.
Right? When you stand pat, you don't try to go and make any moves. I think that's a lot of time when you can get yourself in trouble. So no, I love that move.
Yeah. And you know, I've been reading up and just watching people's posts online, and a lot of folks are upset that they didn't try to get an offensive lineman, which I understand, but I also know that to get an offensive lineman in season, that's difficult, man, especially anybody that's good. That's usually an off-season type of deal to get a good starting O-lineman, you know, because a lot of folks are ready to see Falele hit the bench. So I can't say I blame him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. So as far as teams at the deadline that you thought should have did more, in matter of fact, I'll start this. Pittsburgh. What is that? Bro, you're first in the division. You in prime position to finally, like, truly make a real playoff run. Like, the Steelers have been making the playoffs, but nobody's really taking them seriously. Right? I can't take them serious again this year. You got 1 wide receiver and 3 tight ends. That's not going to take you far in the playoffs, man. And y'all defense is not a top 5 defense like it typically is. So I know they got your boy Rome Wilson, right? I get it. But for me, I thought that Pittsburgh would have been a good spot for Shaheed. Instead, he goes to Seattle. Seattle, realistically, I know we talk about our top 5 teams. If there's a team that's right there on the outside that I would actually put in over Kansas City, since I would take the Chiefs out, it would be the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to me, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones probably are playing quarterback the best I mean, this shit sound crazy. They probably playing the QB position the best of all the quarterbacks in the league right now. Like,
Yeah.
don't have me drug tested. I promise. I'm watching the games. If you watch them, that's just what's going on out there. I fell asleep. I woke up. It was 28-0. Like, Sam Donald is just balling right
Real
now.
quick.
Quick. And you give him another weapon, but the Steelers do nothing.
The Steelers are interesting, man. I honestly think they don't really have the resources to go out and add to that roster. Um, I feel like that roster is aging, so they're one of the few teams that actually need to keep their draft pick because there's going to be a number of positions where they got to get younger at in the offseason. They have younger receivers on the outside that they for whatever reason just doesn't seem like they want to use that much. Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, but they don't really get too many targets. It's almost like it reminds me of the old Ravens offense when Lamar first kind of started out with the tight end was the first read, which is crazy seeing as though you have Aaron Rodgers. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's practice or what, they don't seem to really trust those other outside guys. So, but the Seahawks, man, that receiving core looks good, man. Smith and Jigba, Cup, Horton, Shaheed. That's nasty work to go along with the young boy Barner at tight end. Um, they got weapons, Charbonnet and Walker in the backfield. They're going to be tough to guard, man. They're going to be truly tough to guard down the stretch. And their defense, you know, hosted by my guy Mike McDonald, they're going to be a good defense, just off of scheme alone. So they're going to be a tough team, in my opinion, to get put out, especially if they end up in that 1 or 2 seed range going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to go through that Seattle atmosphere, that 12th man situation. That's tough. So definitely can't sleep on the Seahawks.
Yeah. No, spot on. And I'm looking at Corey Baker, Drake, and Drake. Yeah, Baker been playing good outside of that last game. That was rough to watch against the Lions. Because that's stuck in my memory at this point. Drake May has been balling. I can't deny that. Drake May has flat out been balling. And then winning at Buffalo was a huge win. So I put him right up there with Donald and Jones. For sure. For sure. Jayden Daniels. A lot of debate about should he have been in the game that late in the game in the fourth quarter. Obviously, if you don't know, Jayden Daniels went out with the injury, probably going to be out for the foreseeable future. So now the question becomes, should he have been in the game or should he have been pulled? Should Marcus Mariota have been in the game and Jayden Daniels had the clipboard? The game was well out of hand at the time that Jayden Daniels had got injured. What's your thoughts on that, Joe?
Man, I'll start off first saying I like Jayden Daniels. I think he is a great player, extremely talented. But he's got to learn to respect his position. The guy is one of the frailest guys in the league. And yet he takes off. And very seldomly do you see this guy trying to slide, get down, get out the way, get out of bounds, anything. Like, you are the franchise quarterback. You are what? They probably got him listed at 200. He might be
not 200.
He ain't funny. You feel me? So you got to respect your position and know what you mean to that team. And in a situation like that, you got to get down, bro. Like, it's no reason for you to try to force your way into the end zone right there. I get everybody wants to be mad at Dan Quinn for keeping him in the game. And while I get that perspective, I see it from Dan Quinn's perspective as well, because he's thinking, this is my guy. He's been out, 4 out of the 7 games this season, and he needs reps too. But when as a player, you got to know the position you're in, and you got to say, look, it's no reason for me to take unnecessary hits in this game. Let me slide, let me throw the ball away, and move to the next play. But like I said, I respect the guy because I think he has like a, he's one of those guys that tries to play bigger than he is, and I respect that. As a guy that if I was somebody to play beside him, I would. That's the type of guy I would want to be in the trenches with. But you can't keep taking those type of hits, man. And we saw this with Mike Vick back in the day, and we saw with Lamar early in his career. You gotta get down, man. You gotta get down, and that's something that even the older quarterbacks always tell these younger guys, like, don't take those unnecessary hits. And to me, that was an unnecessary hit that unfortunately led to him. I think it was a dislocated elbow. Like, come on, kid, you got to just get rid of the ball and get to the next play.
Yeah. No, it's unfortunate that he got hurt. I feel like he should have still been in the game, right? And the reason that I say that, this happens all the time in the NFL with these guys, man, where they get down late in the game and they're typically out there. They're typically on the field. They just are. It's not like the NBA. And that's what's so crazy. In the NBA, teams get down 15, 20 points with 3-4 minutes left, and they clear the bench.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you consistently see in the NFL teams down 2, 3 scores late in the fourth quarter, under 3-4 minutes to go, starter still in the game. I've always thought it was crazy, but it's just a thing. Like, you rarely see the backup quarterback come in the game in the NFL, unless the score is like out of hand in like the third quarter, like 4 or 5. Like, it's just rare that backup quarterbacks enter the game in the NFL unless there's an injury.
Right.
Which is crazy. I even see running backs in the NFL go to the bench and not come in. You'll see the backup running back come in for the last 2-3 possessions if the game is out of hand. We had a game like this, the Packers, a couple weeks ago. Jacobs never came back in the game.
Right.
The last 3 possessions of the game, he never came back in. And the only thing they was doing was turn around, hand the ball off. So you can protect Josh Jacobs, but you don't protect the quarterback. Because Jordan Love was out there handing it off to him. They even threw a couple passes.
Exactly.
And the game was over. So it's the modern day NFL. Because old school NFL, they did take those. Remember, they took those guys out. Backup quarterbacks did come in. But I almost think sometimes they just so disrespectful to the rules. Like, hey, ain't nobody hitting a quarterback anyway. I'd leave him in.
Yeah. I mean, they got so many rules to protect them.
Yeah, so, a lot of rules.
Once you leave that pocket, it's all out the window.
All right, so I'm gonna pivot, man, to college football. Obviously, the first set of college football playoff rankings came out. I think it's kind of I don't know the word for it. I just don't know if we needed alignment the way that we have right now in the college football playoff rankings, right? So if you haven't seen the rankings as far as the college football playoff rankings is concerned, give it to you right now. Run them down for you. So you got Ohio State number 1, Indiana number 2, A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, BYU, Texas Tech, Oregon. The favorites every year, somehow they'll get in, Notre Dame, Texas, and you got Oklahoma. Those are your top 12, but obviously we got a spot in here that we're going to have reserved, obviously, for a group of 5 school, right? So my thing, I guess my question, with the realignment of that the SEC and the Big Ten did, is it now hurting teams?
Some of the other conferences, yeah. I mean, I think it's geared toward the SEC and Big Ten now because the best teams are in those conferences, so they're playing each other. So their schedules are already going to be stronger just off that, strength of schedule, just off of playing the conference. Whereas though you have somebody like the ACC, they need to play out of conference games against good opponents for them to be looked at as even somewhat equal.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this like potential first round matchups. Like obviously, college football for me is my favorite sport, always has been. I'm looking at first round matchups: Texas Tech, Ole Miss in the 9-8. The 5-12 would be Oregon and Memphis. The 6-11 matchup would be Georgia Tech, and it's looking like UVA and BYU. And actually, I think Georgia Tech lost over the weekend, right?
Yep.
So they wouldn't even be in this playoff bracket right now. So the
Well, I
ACC essentially, well, I guess we get the automatic conference bid.
yeah. So I think they're still in as of now, because I don't think that loss affected their ranking too much. But I mean, they still got to play Georgia, I believe. So I mean, it's going to end up probably being only one ACC team. And I think Pittsburgh is still in the mix of the conference, if I'm reading that right. So, but I think the ACC is going to be one bid, and then the rest of it will be the Big Ten SEC Invitational, pretty much featuring what BYU and Memphis.
Right. So I guess if I'm a team, let's say like USC, for example, in the Big Ten, right? The way the BCS was set up and the way the 14 playoff was set up, you had to play those higher tier elite teams in order to be able to get into that 14 playoff,
Right.
right? Or before the 14 playoff, in order to get in to secure one of those top two spots in the BCS. I don't have a reason to go through the gauntlet of playing all these teams if a 12-team playoff exists. I'm just thinking from an SEC perspective. If if I'm Texas A&M, granted A&M is doing great this year,
Yeah.
but I already would have had to play Texas in the Big 12, and I already would have had to play Texas Tech in the Big 12 if I stayed there. Why in the world do I need to also worry about Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Florida, Vanderbilt? Like why am I why? Like that's no longer attractive to me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm shocked. And then there's schools still trying to join these power conferences. And I know it's the money, it's the NIL and everything like that. But I'm just thinking from like, what's going to put yourself in the best position to win a national championship? It's not joining the SEC.
No, but that's somewhere on the list. At first it used to be a chance to get to the bowl, the top four bowl games to get to the championship were like the number one things on the list. Now it seems the money is now the number one thing, and that's somewhere behind it.
Gotcha.
It's like, oh, let's get paid, and then let's try to win after that. And unfortunately, a lot of these kids and these coaches suffer because of it.
Gotcha. So on to the NBA. John Morant obviously was suspended for a game for some comments that he made post game, a couple games back. Now it seems like the relationship with Ja and Memphis is kind of taking a turn for the ugly, which we could all see coming anyway.
Absolutely.
So what do you think overall of the John Morant situation? Because I feel like Ja's been on thin ice for the last two to 3 years. At one point, him and Zion was technically supposed to be the face of the NBA in the future. Now we got all these international stars. You got SGA, you got Luka, you got Joker. Really, you really don't have that. Like Ant Edwards is that guy right now, kind of that American-born guy that could be a poster child. What happens with Ja?
I mean, I think Ja is ready to get out of Memphis. I think he's ready for a fresh start. I think he needs a fresh start. There have been a lot of changes in the last few years where Memphis has gone from a contender to now probably not even making playoffs. You figure he saw his coach leave, which I still feel like that coach wrongly got fired, but the coach is gone. They traded Desmond Bain in the offseason. So John's a bowler. He's looking at that roster just like we are,
Yeah.
and all he sees legitimately is Jaron Jackson. And after that, what's the next best player? Aldama, maybe? Like, yeah. So I think he's ready. He's just ready to go, man. I think that the time between them and all the issues over that time has burnt the bridge. And I think he needs a fresh start. And I think Memphis would be good to do that, especially by the trade deadline. Get as much as you can before he possibly gets hurt or something else crazy happens. Um, Try to get as much as you can for him now because I think the longer they wait, the less they get.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. The relationship with Giant Memphis is pretty much done. It's time for both parties to go ahead and move on. Um, the bad part about it is his personality does fit Memphis, right?
Yeah,
Like it is one of those cultural things where like Ja belongs in Memphis. Like that's the spot. Um, but when you let Desmond Bain go or trade Desmond Bain away, I mean that was part of your core. You had Ja, you had Bain, and you had Triple J.
fact.
So I'm not sure what Memphis is actually trying to do because you had a young core. You got a 3-and-D guy. You got a guard that could drive, penetrate, dish the rock, can assist, and you got a big that can step out, shoot the three, and he's a shot blocker, right? A defensive player of the year candidate every single year. So I'm not sure why you give up Desmond Bain.
Yeah, I'm not.
So
I mean,
I just it's time. It's time.
they got a nice conversation for him. And Memphis is one of those teams that believes in picks, so we'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah. And if they get off Ja, like, where does he go? Because I'm already seeing the Clippers. I feel like every player that become available, the Clippers want him.
Yeah, I've seen the Clippers. I've seen the Mavs. That's not me being a homer. I've seen the Mavs. And I saw somewhere in the East. I can't remember what squad it was. Might have been like Chicago or something. Um, but I don't know how that would fit. Chicago kind of has in a way, a band of misfits for a team, but those boys be hooping, man. They're fun to watch play. So, but yeah, I agree. It's going to be limited destinations for him, for cap reasons, and also just culture fit. You know, um, and I'm sure teams are kind of gonna be looking at him sideways too. They don't want him to bring any of that stuff he was getting into in Memphis to whatever the city that is. So
Yeah. I was trying to think of somewhere for Ja. Yeah. I could see Ja. I think Miami would be a good fit.
you can't stay out of trouble in
My
Memphis.
fear, yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. My only fear is putting Ja on South Beach. Putting Ja on South Beach, that's real dangerous. Um, and the next spot after that ain't gonna be no better because I know Atlanta been having some talks about trading Trey Young, so it's like those two of the worst places he could go to try to stay out of trouble.
Big city.
But when you an undersized guard like he is, man, it's just not gonna be a whole lot of demand for you,
Yeah. Yep.
especially with the baggage it come with.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anybody can tolerate anything for the right price,
Agree.
but it got to be the right price. All right, it's not the right price right now. Um, Not hearing a lot of news about Colorado and Deion Sanders. Over the past, what was it, 4 years? We've been following Coach Prime, right? Jackson State through the Colorado tour with Travis Hunter and his kids. Um, Over the last couple weeks, Colorado's given up over 100 points defensively. Colorado's terrible. They look terrible. The offense look bad. Defense look bad. How come we're not hearing more chatter about Coach Prime being on the hot seat?
I don't know if Colorado can afford to fire Coach Prime. Honestly, um, he's done so much for that university as far as the money coming in, the attention they've gotten, even in losing season. Um, Nobody was going to Boulder. ESPN wasn't coming to Boulder. They wasn't televising those games.
Mm-hmm.
He's brought them into a completely different market. So they forget football games. They can possibly lose a lot more for firing than just football games. So it's bigger than just the game. I think for Colorado. So I think while he might get a talking to about it, and maybe change up those coordinators, I can't see Prime getting fired at any time, at least not for another season or two.
Yeah, uh, you're 100% right. He means more to the University of Colorado other than wins and losses, right? And it's kind of like what we just talked about with John Morant, with what you're willing to tolerate, right? Colorado was willing to tolerate the celebrities on the sideline and all of that stuff when it was at least coming with 7, 8 wins a year. When you start potentially about to go 3-9, it becomes a different story, right? Yeah, they're selling tickets. Yeah, people still want to come out there and see Colorado, but that shine is starting to wear thin.
Yeah,
because recruits ain't gonna go there anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the tackle, the number one recruit that they signed last year out of high school, 2 years ago out of high school, because he'll be going into his junior year after this. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in the transfer portal. Because why Seton? Why would he stay there? What he staying there to do?
I mean, and they got the quarterback, Lewis, that was
Yeah.
a top prospect, a 5-star quarterback, and they've they've been through their first three strings as far as quarterback is concerned. So he may be gone as well.
And that's and that's the crazy part about this. He's getting talent.
Yeah.
Caden Salter took Liberty to the playoff. Bro, no, my bad. They were undefeated. They didn't get in the playoff. They were 13-0. Like Salter was a baller. Like we watch these Conference USA. Some people consider them trash games on Thursday. We tune in. We watch these games on Wednesday night and Thursday night. So to see Salter even go to Colorado, I'm like, oh, he gonna ball out. At Colorado, he gonna ball.
But let me ask you this: like you said, we watch these games. We're in touch with these teams. Who's the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator for Colorado?
Yeah, got a good point.
The fact that we don't know the answer to that tells me it's nobody that is making a significant difference or can make a significant difference. He has to go out. He's got too many contacts not to have a bigger name on at least one side of the ball.
So does a lot of that.
Both sides are lacking.
So I think a lot of that can fall back on your friend. You got a job and your friends be like, yo, put me on.
You hear me? You hear me? Okay. I can't hear you for some reason.